Now, is there ever a day when Meghan and Harry are not mortally offended by something? It would be hard to pick that day out, wouldn't it? Now, this is the latest situation because according to a well-placed source, Meghan and Harry are offended by this. And once again, it's hard to define exactly how they could be offended, but somehow they've made it about themselves. Let me explain. Morning, good to see you. Thank you so much as ever for joining me today on a nice chilly day here in London town. Yes, it's well, we're heading now into winter, aren't we? I can tell there's a chill in the air, and of course with our winter fuel allowance now being taken away, well, not mine but lots of yours, it's terrible really. I do feel so sorry for some of the older people who may be struggling simply to keep warm. If you know any tips, somebody told me about putting a hot water bottle in foil, because it keeps it warmer longer. Is that true? I might try that one out. But do you know any tips that literally keep you warm and better heated if you just sat around the house? All that sort of stuff. Apparently over here, also people are now willing to go and sit in doctor's surgeries for hours at a time because they know how long it takes, simply because it's free heating and free lighting, and they've got some company. Terrible situation when you think, but this is the world we're now currently living in. It's a little bit like the world that we live in with Meghan and Harry, because as many people know, James Middleton recently released a brilliant book. It's all about his dog Ella and the very special relationship that he had with her and how important that relationship was in developing him as a person. Not only was he lucky enough to meet his gorgeous wife via the dog, but that's literally how things evolved. Now, if you don't know James Middleton's story, of course, he is the Princess of Wales, Catherine, her brother. And a lot of people, he's kept himself way off the radar, and he's tried many different businesses, which some have worked, some haven't. The most recent one with the dog food has done quite well for him. But, clearly he's had his setbacks and struggles, as everybody does in life. But when he met his gorgeous wife, he decided to recount this story inside the book. And basically, to speed it forward, it was how more informal this was than he was expecting, because she'd stayed over, Catherine and William turned up with the children, and then she literally met them, literally off the cuff. Now cast your mind back, because when Meghan Markle told her version of events on Oprah Winfrey, and how of course William and Catherine were very formal and not huggers and all of this sort of stuff, it totally contradicts that story. Now you might say, well, it's just two different versions of events. There's a family member, she wasn't. Well, Harry was, and he never absolutely contradicted this story. You watch that again and you can see he's not totally believing this particular message, as ever, allegedly. But now, according to a source, both Meghan and Harry are mortally offended about this because it throws into light and disrepute their version of events. Apparently, according to Meghan, when they first met, she was in ripped jeans, had no shoes on, and felt very, very sort of, caught off guard. And apparently she thought Catherine and William would drop the formality act. Apparently, according to Meghan, they never did. And that's the reason why she feels, all of these years later, this version of events that's now in James Middleton's book is a slight against her. As I say, it's difficult with Meghan because you could say turning a page over would make her very angry and annoyed, and she'd find some upsetting side of that. Either way, James Middleton's book is a celebration of his life so far, some wonderful, warm, funny stories about life outside and inside the British monarchy. As for this story, I'll leave you to make your own mind up. Do you think Catherine's warm or not? I know which side of the fence I sit on. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.